You're watching 11 Alive Morning News. 11 minutes of nonstop news starts now.
First this morning, polls open in just a few minutes for the final day of early voting. And a new poll is revealing how voters feel just ahead of Election Day.
Today is a day for an 11 Alive holiday tradition as we gear up for the 40th annual Can-a-thon. How you can help your neighbor make sure they don't go hungry this holiday. First this morning, the mother of a 15-year-old killed near Atlantic Station is speaking for the first time.
Police are still looking for the people suspected of killing 15-year-old Cameron Jackson and another young boy. Liza Lucas has the latest.
Yes, as she mourns her son, Cameron's mom wants to spare other parents her pain. She says gun violence is a community issue, and while she didn't share all the details, she says that she has a plan in the works to help other Atlanta kids.
You know, you see all of the violence on TV, but you never think that one day you would be waking up and it would be your child. And I wanted to speak because this is not about Cameron. This is not about that other little kid. This is about all of our children.
Atlanta police say Jackson was the intended target of the shooting Saturday night. 12-year-old Zion Charles was also shot and killed. Family attorneys say rumors that Jackson was in a gang are only speculation. Now, Jackson's mom says she homeschooled her son to ensure he was a good student. She says he loved animals and was a dedicated boxer. He just recently celebrated his 15th birthday on November 6th.
All right, Liza, we continue to think of those families. Thank you. Sticking with your 11 minutes of nonstop news today, faith leaders in the metro are taking action on the streets after the death of Cameron and Zion.
They are holding an anti-violence walk and prayer vigil. It's happening in Midtown tonight. They hope to get the community involved, but acknowledge that more than prayer is needed here. Reverend Daryl Winston says there needs to be long-term solutions because this is a systemic problem. Right now, one of the proposals before the city council is a 7 p.m. curfew for anyone 17 and under.
The Fulton County District Attorney's Office is now being allowed to admit evidence for prior gang activity in its prosecution of Jerrion McKinney. The DA's office won an appeal. Now McKinney is accused of manning an illegal barricade the night 8-year-old Sequoia Turner was shot to death and then chasing the car she was riding in after the gunfire.
We could see more high-profile testimony in the Fulton County grand jury probe into the possible election interference next week. Former President Trump's national security advisor Michael Flynn was ordered by a Florida judge to testify. Prosecutors want to know more about a December 2020 meeting with Flynn, Trump, and other parts of the campaign. The grand jury is investigating the former president's attempt to overturn election results.
Just about 7 minutes for the last day of early voting in Georgia's Senate runoff. A new poll shows the race is still very tight. Ariana Manish checked in with voters to see how they're feeling.
In the final days of this closely watched race, Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock has a slight lead over his Republican challenger Herschel Walker. Take a look. Our exclusive 11 Alive Survey USA poll shows that Warnock leads with 50% and Walker with 46% support. The poll also indicates that campaign messaging and news coverage have also weighed on this race. 42% of voters said that they had favorable impressions of Warnock and 33% for Walker. 49% said that they had unfavorable impressions of Walker and 42% for Warnock. Voters we spoke to say that they had their minds made up before they made their way to the ballot box, but campaign ads and messaging also played a factor in this runoff.
I think I knew who I was voting for in the beginning, but you know, some of that campaigning kind of helped seal the deal.
Yes, they did beat him up pretty bad. Yeah, I didn't like that, but it's just one of those things. In politics, you're going to get beat up.
In just a few minutes, polls will open for the final day of early voting before the official election day on Tuesday. Back to you.
Ariana, thank you. The Dogs are #1 in the country, but for Georgia to stay on top, they've got to win tomorrow's SEC championship game against LSU. They play at the Benz. Gates open at 1:30 p.m. You'll need to pack a clear bag and go through a metal detector. Pack your cards, though, because the stadium is cashless. And if you'd like to go to tailgate, go to the Home Depot backyard west lot at M Lot. We have much more on what you need to know about the big game in this story on 11alive.com. And anticipation is building as the U.S. men's soccer team gets ready to take on the Netherlands in a World Cup knockout match. This is the team's high-stakes game in nearly a decade. The Today Show has all the details coming up right after 11 Alive Morning News.
Today is the day. 11 Alive is celebrating 40 years of Can-a-thon, and we are inviting you to do your part to support families in need across the metro. Jerry Carnes is live from one of our many locations in Gwinnett County. Jerry, we are all excited to head out there and join you today. What do people need to know?
Well, good morning. Take a look at this. We've already gotten our first donations of the morning. We don't really get fully underway for another hour or so, but a man had to get to work early, dropped by 2 bags full of canned goods. So we are underway here in Lawrenceville. Back behind me, you see the Publix truck. It is empty right now, should be full by the end of the morning. The mission here today is to collect enough canned goods to stock the pantries of 13 different Salvation Army locations throughout Metro Atlanta and North Georgia, and they will use that food to feed hungry families for an entire year. The Salvation Army tells us that last year 800,000 families depended on canned goods to make ends meet. So that makes this 40th Can-a-thon all that much more important. We'll be here in Lawrenceville. Come see us here or at the 3 other locations throughout Metro Atlanta. Back to you.
Jerry, thank you. And here is a look at all the locations where you can drop off your donations today. For more on 11 Alive's 40th annual Can-a-thon, head to 11alive.com.
And we'll be out there starting this morning, and in fact, we'll be out there by noon. 51 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Shouldn't be any rain around. We'll be okay. We'll be dry at least through the day. We'll see that mix of sunny clouds all day long. 57 degrees will be our afternoon high. We'll hit that right around 3 o'clock. When you're driving home tonight, looking at 51 degrees by 6 under cloudy skies. Rain chance increases over the weekend.
Yeah, so if you are heading out to the Crockett Atlanta location for the Salvation Army, this is what I will be contending with. So please,
donate to Can-a-thon or I'll have Rudolph stop in your front lawn.
We need to step up our game.
Right. They said festive. Missed that memo.
He's checking that box for all of us. Hey, we'll see you at Can-a-thon. Can't wait. Thanks in advance. Have a great day.